How's it going, everybody? C-RadTV back here with another video. So, of course, it's time for another Detroit Lions 2025 NFL Draft Preview. So, in the last draft preview, we took a look at the top day 3 wide receiver prospects for rounds 4 through 7 of the 2025 NFL Draft. And in this video, we're going to continue on the day 3 draft previews and take a look at some of the top day 3 tight end prospects for rounds 4 through 7 of the 2025 NFL Draft, to see which names the Lions could keep an eye on if they want to get another tight end in the draft in the 2025 draft in a couple weeks. Because even though tight end isn't one of the biggest needs in the world, it doesn't hurt to have an extra one or two and give Goff maybe an extra weapon, or maybe get somebody that can get an extra block to help the run game or help Goff get some protection. So I'm going to take a look at some of these prospects and see who the Lions should keep an eye on. So let's go. So the first tight end we're going to go over here, hailing out of LSU, standing 6'5", weighing 255 pounds. We got Mason Taylor. So for Mason, he's your prototype hands tight end, so he has really good hands because, as you might expect, given his Hall of Fame bloodlines, as he's the son of Pro Football Hall of Famer Jason Taylor and the nephew of Pro Football Hall of Famer Zach Thomas. Mason, he has long arms, strong hands, ball skills, can make challenge catches look routine. Terms of strengths, good athlete when it comes to speed, explosiveness, agility, extremely twitchy at the top of his route, smooth runner, gets comfortable turning up the field to get yards after the catch, has the size to play in line, but the athleticism to move in the slot, good combo, long arms, reliable hands, great ball skills when it comes to bringing in difficult catches and tracking the ball. In terms of his weaknesses, though, mediocre play strength, it can lead to issues with blocking or beating press. Poor blocker when it comes to utilize leverage, placing his hands consistently. Raw route runner, needs more refinement and cleaner breaks. Low effort player when blocking, poor production in contested catch situations. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Charlie Kolar of the Baltimore Ravens. Overall, there are a lot of things to like out of Mason's game. He's really good on yards after the catch, so can get more yards after it gets that ball. Maybe someone to keep an eye on here for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Iowa, standing 6'6", weighing 253 pounds. We got Luke Lachey. So for Luke, he's your prototype blocking tight end, so very good blocking because his rewind-worthy blocks are a regular occurrence. Blast second-level defenders back or to the ground on first contact. In terms of strengths, hand catcher whose frames to pull effectively, won't rely on his body to secure it. Blast back defensive backs on contact. Has uncanny natural power with the ball in his hands. Plays with tendency as a blocker. Enough pop in his pass to drive back linebackers in the run game. Big catch radius, play strength that helps him to finish in contested catch situations. Able to play through press and keep his route integrity. Built like a prototypical inline tight end. Can do a little bit of everything. In terms of his weaknesses, though, speed's more serviceable than stellar. Won't be able to threaten most linebackers as a straight line target. He's still learning how to stay low and in control on blocks against defensive ends. He'll be primarily a vertical threat only, although he's showed craftier route running in the East-West practices. And injury concerns may still be lingering after he missed most of 2023. In terms of NFL comparison, he's been compared to Jared Willie of the Kansas City Chiefs. Overall, a lot of things to like out of Luke's game. Does some things right. Has a lot of strength and can pop. Has a long, strong pop. I think someone to keep an eye on here for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Clemson, standing 6'6", weighing 240 pounds. We got Jake Brittenstool. So for Jake's strengths, physical when he fights through coverage against corners and linebackers. Major goal line threat, able to take advantage of short distances with great burst size mismatches. Had rear separation skills at the college level. He'll impress with his jump out of the gym skills as he absolutely rockets up to get high balls. Really helped out Cade Kublik as a target. Reliably making plays on out-of-reach passes. In terms of his weaknesses, though, a little bit below average as far as physical profile goes for a tight end. Short arms, limited weight, brings his blocking profile down, limits his overall upside. He doesn't drop the anchor when he blocks, can get himself knocked over. Teams looking for a traditional tight end in the mold of a Pat Freiermuth or something like that, they need to look elsewhere, as he's more of a pass catcher than anything else. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Luke Schoonmaker of the Dallas Cowboys. Overall, there's a lot of things to like out of Brian's game. Out of Jake's game, my bad. So I think someone here to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Texas Tech, standing 6'4", weighing 265 pounds. We got Jalen Conyers. So for Jalen's strengths, He's a genuinely impressive athlete for his size. Bulked up to somewhere near 270 in 2024. Still moved like he did closer to 250. He's able to handle all expected aspects of the position with proficiency. Smooth route running down the scheme. Underneath, could separate from linebackers well. Snatches balls out of the air with good length. Jumping ability. Blocks well, can control defensive linemen with baseline techniques. Clear lanes out for running backs and can stay engaged long enough. He's also been listed as one of the top sleeper picks in this draft class because he's an impressive athletic talent, good goal line abilities, body control. There is starting a level upside with him. He isn't currently projected to be drafted, whichever team secures him has the chance to mold the career of a future stud. In terms of his weaknesses, though, wasn't a consistent contributor to the Texas Tech passing attack. Didn't record a reception in 3 of 13 games. Doesn't always keep forward momentum down the field. Could maybe do a little less stop-start work across the board. Doesn't show a lot of great body control work. In terms of NFL comparisons, he's been compared to Foster Moreau of the New Orleans Saints. Overall, though, there are a lot of things to like out of his game. Does a lot of things right. Very athletic. Does some things right. And he may not even reach his peak yet. So, under the right circumstance, under the right culture, he could develop into a very promising star. So, definitely, I think there's a lot with him to be desired, and I think a lot to keep an eye on with him. So, the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Auburn, standing 6'3", weighing 247 pounds, we got Rivaldo Fairweather. Silver for Rivaldo, strengths. Disproportionately long arm for his size, has an outstanding catch radius, the versatility to move around the offense without becoming one-dimensional. Smooth route runner, can get out of his breaks without gearing down or firing his feet too much. Frames the ball well at the catch point, has soft hands to reel it in. Long speed flashed against California if you want to watch some tape there when he had room to run vertically. In terms of his weaknesses, though, he's on the lighter and smaller side for a traditional inline tight end. Will face some uphill battles when asked to pass block against defensive ends. More of a good than great athlete that will need to win in zones rather than beating defensive backs along his routes. Just again, the way blocker doesn't have the strength to redirect and push people around. In terms of NFL comparisons, he's been compared to James Mitchell of the Detroit Lions. Overall, though, one of the things to like out of Rivaldo's games, definitely I think something to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Alabama, standing 6'5", weighing 262 pounds. We got C.J. Dippre. So for C.J. strengths, shockingly nimble as a blocker receiver. Flashes dominant strength in the run game. Shows good hand placement and leverage. Nimble feet and size. Allows some versatility in blocking schemes. Runs crisp routes. Surprisingly effective after the catch due to his physicality. In terms of the weaknesses, though, uncoordinated as a runner. Tape shows numerous instances of him tripping or stumbling. Was often taken off the field in obvious passing situations. Poor stone feel when running crossers. Low passing volume, contested catch targets throughout his career. Average speed and agility. In terms of NFL comparisons, he's compared to Drew Sample of the Cincinnati Bengals. Overall, a lot of things to like out of his game, but a lot of things left to be desired. Maybe somebody that could develop into something a couple years down the line. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Syracuse, standing 6'5", weighing 236 pounds. We got Oron Gaston II. So for Oron, he's your prototype release tight end because he's the son of former NFL wide receiver Oron Gadsden, which is comps to Mike Gesicki for his clean breaks, long speed. It could be a red zone beast. In terms of strengths, a very good long speed for a tight end. His routes are crisper than average for tight ends. Works well in contested situations. Fits into the big slot archetype, similar to a Mike Gesicki. Genuine red zone threat. Calls for the ball. Has strong body control to stay in bounds. Big play potential as a run after catch threat. Terms of weaknesses, though, not much functional mass on that frame, making him difficult to trust in run blocking. He brings effort when blocking, but doesn't create any shock and mostly gets blown past. Doesn't garner a ton of separation in downfield situations. Has a little trouble handling physical coverage. Should work to get better handling jams. In terms of his NFL comparison, not only is he being compared to Mike Gesicki, the Miami Dolphins, he's also had comparisons to Grant Calcaterra of the Philadelphia Eagles. Overall, one of the things to like out of Oron's game, and also being a son of a former NFL wide receiver, I think definitely somebody here to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Miami, standing 6'4", weighing 245 pounds. We got Elijah Oyo. That last name's a bit of a tongue twister. But anyway, for Elijah's strengths, hands are reliable regardless of where he was targeted. Had only one drop in 2024. He has hit 20.5 miles per hour in games for running speed, and he showcases long strides to pull away from defenders in the open field. Runs hard after the catch, able to work back across his body to snag difficult catches. In terms of his weaknesses, though, his play sometimes shows a lack of polish, build-up speed runner, lacks the short area quickness, change of direction skills that tight ends usually need. Still filling out his frame, hasn't developed the mass to be an advantage in the run game. Spinally in his lower half body, plays too high as a blocker. Route tree in college mostly featured linear routes where he didn't have to make sharp cuts. He's also been listed as a player that could disappoint in this draft class because even though he's hailed as a top 50 talent, he's an all-frame, no-game prospect. Athletic traits and body control have caught eyes. His route running, blocking, acceleration, at least much to be desired. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's compared to Cole Turner of the Washington Commanders. Overall, a lot of things to like out of his game, but there's a lot that's left to be desired. So that will be the more disappointing part. But hey, maybe under the right coaching and the right culture and the right circumstances, maybe he could turn that around and develop into something to clean all that up. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Texas, standing 6'5", weighing 250 pounds. We got Gunnar Helm. So for Gunnar's strengths, reliable pass catcher, physical player, willing to run through defenders, block with effort. High motor player, tries to the very end to gain yards, demonstrates good functional strength as a blocker, extensive special teams experience on kickoff, punt coverage, and field goals. In terms of his weaknesses, though, stiff and slow runner as a pass catcher, needs to improve blocking technique as tape shows poor leverage, hand placement, needs to improve overall awareness when he finds soft spots and zones. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's compared to Adam Troutman of the Denver Broncos. Overall, a lot of things to like out of Gunner's strength, even as the versatility of special teams. Maybe someone to keep an eye on as a special team or worst case scenario. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Pittsburgh, standing 6'5", weighing 250 pounds. We got Gavin Bartholomew. Yeah, that last name's a massive fucking tongue twister. But anyway, to Gavin's strengths. Really good upper body strength, can catch defenders by surprise, especially when operating as a move blocker. Good accelerator when he gives a quick pop pass in the Cincinnati game, if you want to watch some tape there. He was able to make use of space, quickly get to top speed. In terms of weaknesses, though, limited agility, seems like only a straight line athlete. Has moments wherein he just can't turn around and track the ball, resulting in offensive miscues. Doesn't have the plus length to consistently win contested catches. Speed profile's fine, but can't be trusted to a consistent separator. In terms of his NFL comparisons, compared to James Shaughnessy of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Overall, a lot of things to like out of Gavin's game. A few things to clean up, though, but maybe someone to keep an eye on for depth. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Oregon, standing 6'5", weighing 250 pounds. We got Terrence Ferguson. In terms of Terrence's strengths, very impressive long speed when given a free release, demonstrates great physicality and leverage when blocking, has extensive special teams experience. In terms of weaknesses, though, poor play strength when he moves defenders in the run game, makes contested catches on breaking press, awkward runner with long strides, makes it easy to knock him off the path, poor pass catcher with drop issues in 2024. Doesn't look natural fighting for the ball in the air. In terms of his NFL comparisons, he's compared to Luke Schoonmaker of the Dallas Cowboys. Overall, a lot of things to like out of Terrence's game, but a lot of things to clean up, especially the drops. But, maybe could have some value as a special teamer. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Georgia Tech, standing 6'4", weighing 263 pounds. We got Jackson Hawes. So for Jackson's strengths, one of the most dominant run-blocking tight ends in the draft in recent years, shown by his tape against Florida State, if you want to watch that there. Could moonlight as an offensive tackle if called upon. Elite effort player, gets around well for his size, won't be a complete non-factor in the pass game. In terms of his weaknesses, though, lacks the lateral agility, change of direction. He'll be easy to stick to in pass coverage. Hands are largely untested. He'll likely be a lower snap count player that seeds opportunities to more dynamic passing game players. In terms of his NFL comparisons, he's compared to Tip Ryman of the Arizona Cardinals. Overall, though, lot of things to like out of Jackson's games, especially for run blocking. You know, a lot of things to like out of it. A couple things to clean up, but maybe it could be a solid depth piece. And the final tight end, the final player we're going to go over inside this video, we have hailing out of Ole Miss, standing 6'6", weighing 255 pounds. We got Caden Prieskorn. So in terms of Caden's strengths, has some strong technical flashes as a run blocker, especially his drive, people moving ability. Well-rounded, well-built, can crack out a big play when he's given the space to do so. Even has a little bit of wiggle. Freight train type of runner, also shown major growth as a blocker over his career. In terms of weaknesses, though, he disappeared during big games when he lined up against particular athletic linebackers in games against Georgia and South Carolina, if you want to watch some tape there. He lacks the ability to be consistently involved in a deep passing attack. He's a much older prospect than his counterparts, and he's a rare leftover from the class of 2018. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's being compared to Jeff Heuerman of the Denver Broncos. Overall, a lot of things to like out of Caden's game, but a lot of things to be desired, especially when it comes to the big-time games. You know, maybe someone that could be a depth piece. And that'll wrap it up for this Detroit Lions 2025 NFL Draft Preview. So overall, quite a number of interesting tight end prospects to keep an eye on for Day 3 of the draft, as there are some that not only could add some value for catch and storing situations, but also some that could do some things like goal line situations or run blocking, or hell, even special teams. So definitely some options to keep an eye on for not only depth, but maybe get some improvement on special teams, especially since the NFL announced that new kickoff rule update the other day with the touchbacks now being moved to the 35 instead of 30. So we're probably going to see a lot more kickoff returns so other teams can try and pin the offense deep in their own end. So, you know, special teams is going to become more of a factor in games now coming up this season. But anyway, that'll wrap it up for this video. So the next time we will wrap up the offensive side of the draft previews for this year and wrap up the O-line draft previews in the next video. And that'll be for next time. But anyway, that'll wrap it up here. That's all I got to say. Hope everyone's a great day, and I'll see you all whatever I make next. I'm out.